I just think that this group showed some resiliency, improvement this year because we kind of flipped the script. I think, we came to the conclusion that this was the best group for us to give us the best chance to win. Again, I thought that there are small improvements this year in terms of, staying in games, coming back from large deficits in the games that we had no business to be in. I mean, I still have confidence in this group right now. Some games we would have good three-point rate, and the reason why we were in a lot of games last year, we were not shooting a lot of threes, but we were making them, right? We still making them.
What I think makes today so depressing for Bulls fans, on top of the Bulls standing pat at the deadline, not making a single move, but it's more so the fact that you're getting this type of response from your executive, who fully believes this team is going to work. And I hate to say it, but also seems pretty out of touch with the reality of the situation that the Bulls find themselves in. It's one thing to go up there and admit, hey, the team has been struggling, this is not where we want it to be, and to just be honest for how this team has been showing up. I would have even been fine if they said, hey, look, the fact of the matter is we don't have a ton of options in the way of trades because we don't have the assets to make said trade. Like, either you're straight lying in your belief of this team and your confidence in them and the problems with it, or you legitimately believe these statements that you're making, which if that's the case, we have an even bigger problem for our front office that is out of touch and unaware with how they have positioned this franchise. And on top of that, what makes all of this more depressing is, at least before the game, when the Bulls were putting up performances like this, you at least had this glimmer of hope. Well, they can still make changes. They can still change up the roster. They can pivot and course correct before the trade deadline. Do something anyway. But now, the trade deadline has passed. This is the roster the Bulls have to close out the season. Yes, there is still the buyout market, which is actually going to be a pretty large buyout market this NBA season, but even then, that doesn't really get me too excited. Players being bought out aren't going to move the needle for the Bulls. So, this is it. This is what we have for the rest of the season. Not something super exciting to be looking forward to, and to be honest, I don't really know what concrete moves can be made in the offseason if this front office is going to continue to be gung-ho about continuity. Speaking of continuity, by the way, because we're here to talk about this game that we just witnessed, the Bulls played a Nets team that was completely overhauled over the trade deadline. They didn't have Nick Claxton, their best defender. He leads the league in shot blocking. They were without Seth Curry, one of their better three-point shooters. Of course, they no longer have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and their new additions that they just acquired in a trade. Two of them didn't even play tonight, in Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson from the Phoenix Suns, and Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith, who they acquired in the Kyrie Irving trade, they literally just joined this group. And the Nets, by far and away, looked much more organized, more connected, more cohesive than this Bulls team that has been with the same crew dating all the way back to last season. Continuity over everything, right? Now, I don't need to go into all the details of this game because it was a bad performance all around. Even Zach Lavine, who had a great game, really started heating up in the third quarter, finished the game with 38 points on 16 for 25 shooting. He had 3 really bad turnovers down the stretch, forced a couple bad shots to get back in the game, and the Nets created even more separation as a result of it. Aside from that, though, I don't think you can really say anyone else on this team had a good game. But the one thing I wanted to call out most, because it was something AK mentioned when asked about the Bulls' lack of outside shooting, citing, well, yes, we're not taking threes at a high rate, but we're still making them. And then in tonight's game, the Bulls shot 5 for 26 from 3, and really 2 of those threes came in the final minutes when Lavine and Vucevic hit threes in desperation in an attempt to get back into the game when they were down 10 plus with less than 2 minutes left to play. 19% from 3, 26 attempts. You compare that to the Nets, 44 threes attempted in this game and hitting 17 of them. You simply cannot win basketball games in today's NBA when you can't score from outside. Other teams will make you pay, and we've seen it time and again from the Bulls. I don't know if you caught the broadcast on TNT, but they had Billy Donovan mic'd up and played a little clip of him talking to the guys in the huddle, and he was emphasizing the Bulls need to play downhill, driving to the basket, staying off the perimeter, because he knows this team can't shoot threes. That's a problem when the coach's really only option here is to just have the guys get to the basket. And really, the Bulls should have taken more advantage of Claxton being out in this one. Like, Vucevic needs to be getting more than just 8 attempts in the paint when the Nets are without their starting center. The Nets were void of any rim protection tonight, and they didn't feed Vucevic in the post. Vuce was able to crash the boards well, had 17 rebounds tonight, but he wasn't getting the touches you would expect of him in this game. And I put that on Billy Donovan. That's on coaching to recognize the mismatch, to recognize that guys are struggling shooting it from deep, and to get Vucevic the ball. I don't know what was going on with DeMar tonight. The man simply could not get it going. 14 points, 5 for 13 shooting, was a minus 23. That's the other thing. When DeRozan isn't having a damn near perfect night, the Bulls struggle. My God, the Bulls had 15 assists tonight as a team. That is horrible. The Nets aren't even that great of a passing team, but managed 26 assists tonight. Although I say that, and we all know this Nets team is going to look completely different from a numbers standpoint with the new guys they have on the roster. But either way, 15 assists for the Bulls is inexcusable, especially when we've literally been saying all season long, this team is so much better when they're pushing the pace, playing with a high level of ball movement, player movement, and this game, this was one of the most stagnant offenses we've seen from the Bulls, which is saying a lot. Just a bad day for the Bulls as a franchise across the board. And it really does make me question the competency of this front office and whether this front office can actually make this franchise a competitive team again. It's not going to get any easier, though, with the schedule. The Bulls have Cleveland on Saturday in Cleveland. Boy. Check out my NBA channel, by the way, as I might start focusing more of my energy on that channel during this difficult time for the remainder of the season. Link to that channel is in the description in case you're interested. Until then, guys, as always, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.